the doors to our waiting room. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc. My name is Becca Dukes, and we are excited to welcome you to our Daily with Doc live stream. If you would like to join us live and you're watching either the replay or the current live stream, you may do so by going to DailywithDocZoom.com. That is DailywithDocZoom.com. That is a link that takes you right into our Zoom meeting, and we host these meetings. We're starting up to do Tuesdays starting in July. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. For those on the East Coast, that's 3 o'clock your time. And just go to DailywithDocZoom.com in your URL browser. So my name is Becca Dukes, and I want to say hello to everybody who's here live with us. Hello, I see lots of faces and names that I know and don't know, and I love that. Absolutely love that. Make sure that you share this program with other people, because what we have on the topic today is something that's going to be affecting a lot of people, whether you're in the States, it's going to happen soon. If you're down in South Africa, it's already happening. South America, it's already happening. And it's something that affects all of us year around, somewhere. So I want to say hello to those out on YouTube. Hello, Dave and Captain and Sportus and all of the wonderful people that join us there. Storks, welcome, welcome, welcome to today's Daily with Doc. Now, this is a resource for an amazing community. We want to make sure that if somebody shared this program with you, that you get back with them. So if it was an individual that you know, especially a friend, folks, get back with them and let them know what you learned or liked best about today's program. And then if you have any questions, they're going to be your primary resource to get those answers. If they don't know the answers, I'm sure they'll be able to find them as well. Now, if you are here because you found us on your own or in a response to an email or a newsletter that you received from Critical Health News or Daily with Doc, and you'd like to get more information or get even a free health evaluation with one of our certified holistic health coaches, you can do a reply to that email. We'll get you in contact with one of our coaches, or better yet, send in your questions to questions@dailywithdoc.com. That's questions@dailywithdoc.com. Or for those who have never spoken to anybody or have never heard about this program by somebody individually, we do have a call team at 855-949-3377. Now, again, this is for people that have never spoken to anybody about Dr. Wallach, the program, the products, and have never tried the products as well, please. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and open up by saying this program is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, nor are the products meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease. But folks, because of the research that has been done, that's not widely known, which is our main goal, there's a lot that we can do as individuals to support this temple, this body that we have been given, to keep the body from going into a rapid decline. And if it's already started, because of the way our bodies were designed, there's things that we can do to stop that decline and actually improve our health journey. And that's what you're going to be hearing about today on Daily with Doc. As the Director of Human Services for the Institute of Holistic Health, a host of this program, and a lead trainer for Critical Health News and the Daily with Doc teams, it is my honor and privilege to bring to you Dr. Joel Wallach, who this has pretty much been a life journey for him in a direction and being blessed with opportunities, good and bad, that have formed him to be the authority on minerals and nutrients and how our bodies respond to not having them and having them. Dr. Joel Wallach started out as a young boy having problems with behavior, inability to, function properly without being disruptive. I know there's a lot of that going around right now, and it seems to be getting more and more. Well, he found that there was something missing from his diet. And once he was directed to finding that missing piece, he has been led to take it to even bigger and better and more impactful calling around the world. He has a Bachelor of Science in Plant and also Soil Sciences. He has a Doctorate of Veterinary Medicine. With that Doctorate of Veterinary Medicine, he discovered the first mass die-off of pollution. He also discovered the first non-human case of cystic fibrosis, not just discovering the first non-human case, because of course that's a genetic disease. That's what they tell us, right? But he also found what was the cause. And with finding the cause, then you can find how to correct any poor health condition. And that's what he has done with almost 30,000 autopsies, including 1,700 autopsies in Qishan, China, where they discovered the cause of Qishan disease, which is similar to what we have in the United States as what, Doc?
Oh.
Qishan disease.
Oh, Qishan
is what?
We're talking about cystic fibrosis.
There we go. So cystic fibrosis. And with that, folks, he has 3 postdoctorates in pathology. When he was fired for saying that he could actually create a whole colony and that cystic fibrosis was not genetic, he decided that he was given the opportunity to teach nutrition at a naturopathic college. And since he was there, he decided to be one. And today we have with us Dr. Joel Wallach, who has taken his thesis from just a few years ago, put it together in a book called Diseases of Exotic Animals, the Medical and Surgical Management, which is held as a national treasure in the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. Doc, you have done so much in your short lifetime, and you didn't stop at animals. You went on to the human world as well, wanting to help not just the 4-legged, the 2-legged, the 100-legged animals, whether that's an animal, an insect, an amphibian, whatever. You have just kept on going and going and still kicking. And I just appreciate all the work that you have done, Dr. Wallach, and allowing us to host you twice a week in your busy schedule, to share your message with the world. So today, Doc, it's starting to warm up. Even in some of the cooler places, people are getting out, they're getting some sunshine, they're working out in the yards or having more energy because of that sunshine to go for walks, which then creates sweat. So, Dr. Wallach, sweat can be a blessing or it can be discomfort. Let's talk about that today.
Okay, well, the good Lord gave us sweat for a purpose, the same purpose that he gave us kidneys. So urine and sweat are very similar in composition. Okay.
Urine and sweat are similar. Interesting.
Yes. Yeah. And so urine, of course, your kidney is filtering the blood and removing things because you can't, what are you going to do with stuff going on inside your body, right? And so the good Lord gave us kidneys to filter the blood and get all the bad stuff out, and then you urinate it out of the body. And so it's really a tremendous benefit. Then, of course, we have all these sweat glands all over the body. Every square millimeter of the skin has sweat glands. Some areas, like under your arms and in your groin and places like that, you got more than in your back and belly and so forth. But they're everywhere, the sweat glands. And being an athlete, my dad was a champion boxer. Okay, he was a lightweight champion in boxing, and I would go to the gym with him. I'm only 2-3 years old. I go to the gym with him 2-3 days a week, and they gave me these little 1-pound dumbbells, and I'd be working those dumbbells. All the other guys are doing 100-pound barbells and stuff, but I'm doing 1-pound dumbbells and thinking I'm doing something. But I was in that gym sweating like the rest of them, and so I knew what sweating was when I was like 2-3 years old. Okay, because everything was working like I was supposed to. And of course, we lived on a farm. We were eating food grown on our own farmlands and so forth. And we had a fireplace, and we were putting the wood ashes into the gardens. And of course, the wood ashes and coal ashes had minerals in them, and the plants in our gardens would take up the minerals. We'd eat those. We're getting more minerals than plants coming from big gardens in the grocery stores, because they might only have 3 minerals. They only need 3. We need 60. And nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform black around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins just like gold and silver. And so this is something that I kind of stumbled onto when I'm just a little kid. Okay. And of course, by the time I was in kindergarten, I was having problems because I'm sweating, I'm going to the gym, I'm running, I'm doing all these things, I'm sweating, and so I'm losing all these nutrients, and I wasn't supplementing. Okay. And so they were going to put me in an institution because my behavior was changing. And if somebody would look at me wrong, I'd punch them. And I had a pretty strong punch for a 3 or 4-year-old because of, moving all kinds of things, bags of stuff, and hay bales and things like that. So I was very strong for my age at 3, 4, 5 years of age. But anyway, that's how I kind of started realizing that I needed something. And so I began to eat what the animals were eating. I was eating the little pellets, alfalfa pellets that they had put vitamins and minerals in to get rid of the disease in animals, white muscle disease, which is muscular in humans. Okay. And so I'm getting my nutrients by, instead of eating oatmeal, I ate alfalfa pellets with the vitamins and minerals in them. Not just alfalfa pellets, but I had the vitamins and minerals added to it for the calves. And that's what I had for breakfast every morning. And so I was a different sort of person by then. I'm replacing what I'm sweating out by those little alfalfa pellets that are supplemented with vitamins and minerals. Now, jumping ahead, of course, I lettered in junior high school, in high school, University of Missouri. High school was Clayton. In junior high, it was Blackberry Lane High School. Okay, or junior high, excuse me. And so I'm doing all these sports, and of course, I was taking vitamins and minerals by that time, and it just worked out great. Now, then I'm jumping now to page 55 in the flip chart. Page 55, 90 for Life Crusade to Save Humanity in the World. There's a picture, my favorite picture in the whole flip chart. There's 75 pages. My favorite picture is on page 55. It's a picture of me standing next to Theo Ratliff. I'm 5'4", and he's 7'4". I come up to his armpits, and there's a beautiful color picture. But you can see we're both smiling because we're going in to give a little lecture at an institution. Well, when you look at this page here, there's quite a story. Theo Ratliff. 1996, Theo Ratliff, a 28-year-old NBA basketball player, was told his career was over. At age 28, Theo, at a young age, had bone-and-bone arthritis in both knees. The cartilage on his right hip had popped off, and the orthopedic surgeon for Atlanta Hawks stated that the injuries required surgery to replant the cartilage. And his right wrist was broken during a regular game. It caught a pass thrown to him and broke the wrist. And the orthopedic surgeons for the Atlanta Hawks said, okay, we can't sign off on Theo. He's too much of a risk. That's because he's sweating out all of these nutrients. Okay. And he wasn't really supplementing with anything. He was just, quote, eating well. Okay. He's too fragile to play professional NBA basketball. Clean out his locker in the Hawks training facility. Theo heard Mike Glenn. Mike Glenn, of course, the Stinger, the legendary guard for the Hawks basketball team, talking to another player about rebuilding his own knees with Wallach's supplement program. Ratliff walked over to Glenn and said, do you think Wallach can help me? And he said that Wallach could also help him. Glenn replied in the affirmative and connected Theo with me. Okay, we got him on a program, and we invented the glucogel for him. We added it to the Healthy Start Pack, and we called it the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack. It was the Healthy Start Pack and the glucogel. Okay, and we began to give him that 3 times a day. And Ratliff passed all the physicians, and the next season he was given a $40 million contract with the Portland Trailblazers. In 2012, Ratliff finished his professional career after 16 years, and he had made over $100 million. Okay, because he was taking our supplements. Okay, now my favorite picture in this whole 55 chart, of course, there's a great one of Rebecca, okay, and her story in this flip chart. So her story's in there too. But this picture of me standing there with Theo at the entrance of this lecture hall, where we were giving a lecture to a group of young families that had kids playing sports and so forth. And we're both laughing and having fun. And it's quite a dynamic picture. Okay. I'm in my 50s. He's in his early 30s. And you look at us and you say, oh my gosh, I look like I'm his son, because I'm just a little bitty guy, come up to his armpits. Okay. And then another one. Okay, let's jump over to another one. Okay. Same sort of story. This one is Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield, if you're a boxing fan, you know who he is. Okay, Evander Holyfield. There's a picture of him standing over a boxer he just knocked out. 1994, Holyfield lost his fight against Michael Moore because he couldn't answer the bell in the last round. A technical knockout. For 4 days later, he was diagnosed with exhaustion from a congenital heart defect. But he also been sweating. I mean, you see boxers, they get punched and their sweat, a quart of sweat goes all over the place. Okay, when they get punched. Okay, described as a non-compliant left ventricle in his heart, which pumps the blood to the whole body. What doctors call a stiff heart, not pumping blood and oxygen throughout the body was as the body's designed. Dr. Joel Wallach got him on the 90 essential nutrients, kind of like Theo. And the next year, he was fighting again, and Evander won back his title with a technical knockout in the 11th round against Mike Tyson in 1996. Mike couldn't answer the bell. Actually, it didn't get that far. They stopped the fight in the 11th round because Evander Holyfield was about ready to kill Mike Tyson. This reclaimed his heavyweight championship for the 3rd time. The medical system incorrectly declared that he had a congenital birth defect, a genetic deficiency, and you don't win heavyweight championships with congenital genetic deficiencies of the heart. There's a simple nutritional deficiency because he sweated so much as a typical athlete did. Now, there's one more athlete I want to talk about here, Kelly Herron, because I want to let girls know that we're not leaving girls out. Kelly, a great basketball player, All-American women's basketball star, University of Tennessee. And she, 2 years into her career, she started to experience trouble in her shooting arm. And we were putting on meetings in Tennessee, and we were just putting newspapers and on TV and on the radio. And we didn't know her, but she heard all this. She came to our meeting. she attended a seminar by me, Dr. Wallach, where she started consistently on the bone and joint pack. Okay. And she was able to play 2 more years at the professional level. Okay. I was at the university level, and then went on to play 4 years playing professionally in the women's basketball league. Okay. And there's a great picture of me standing next to her. I come up to her shoulder, a little bit taller. Okay. But she's like almost 7 foot tall.
6 foot. She's 6 foot, Doc. Don't make her taller than she is.
Well,
Women don't like to be that tall, but she's 6 foot. Beautiful person.
Well, she must be wearing high heels or something, because she's a foot and a half.
Oh, I'm sure she is.
She's a foot and a half taller than me in that picture. Okay, that's page 58. So those 2 basketball pictures, well, the boxing picture, the basketball picture and her picture. So I just wanted to let the girls know that we hadn't forgotten them.
Right. Well, I want to point out a couple things, Doc. So you talked about Theo. He's breaking bones. He's got bone and bone joint issues, and looking at ending his career, which basically it did end, but was able to restart because of nutrition. Mike Glenn, he had issues. Another amazing basketball player that, adding in that nutrition, he was able to then start thriving again. Evander Holyfield, having heart issues, things that happen within the organs. Adding nutrition, able to bounce back. Kelly Herron, having problems with her shooting arm because of breakdown. Add nutrition, she's ready to go again.
And all Folks, 3 of them are sweating.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Dr. Wallach. All of these athletes were sweating. Well, you don't have to be an athlete to sweat, Doc. I know I love being out and about, whether I'm hiking, whether I'm gardening, it doesn't matter. And that sweat, and there are good things to sweat. I mean, it helps to clean the pores. It helps, it's part of the detoxification system, getting things out of the body that's not supposed to
maintain body temperature.
Helping to maintain body temperature. Absolutely. And you had mentioned it's like urine. Urine goes through the kidneys. Mm-hmm. Sweat goes through the skin. So when we're sweating, it's not just water.
Oh, no, it's toxic minerals that you've taken in or produced in your body. And you're sweating these things out. The good Lord gave us the equipment to get rid of the bad stuff, both in urine and in our sweat glands. And so
is it just the bad stuff then that we're sweating out?
No.
Or is
you also sweat out some of the good stuff. It's not a significant amount to begin with, but if you're a computer guy or gal and you're sitting in an air-conditioned office, you're not sweating all day, you're going to retain these nutrients. You're also going to retain the bad stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so that's why people get all these various issues, because they're not sweating out or peeing out the bad stuff because they're sitting in a computer all day. And so it was a big lesson for me. And of course, I'm saying, well, these are professional athletes. How could they be so sick and have so many problems? That's because they weren't taking all 90 essential nutrients. They might be taking vitamin D, or they might be taking some calcium or something like that, but they were just taking 1 or 2 nutrients. They might take a multiple with very low dosages of a dozen different nutrients that were not anything close to 90. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
So in the sweat, there's the toxins, but there's also minerals.
Oh yeah, there's also nutrition, because the sweat glands and the kidney can't be that selective, because when it opens up the gates to let the bad stuff come out, a lot of the good stuff comes out too. Okay. And so that's what happened to Evander Holyfield. That's what happened to Kelly Herron. That's what happened to you. That's what happened to that's what happened to Evander Holyfield. That's what happened to Theo Ratliff and my dad. But he started, eating all the supplements that we were giving the calves, and he came back and he just had a long career in professional boxing.
Wow. Well, as a farm kid growing up in Phoenix, I sweated a lot, Doc.
You know, when
And
if you're a farm kid, you're doing as much work as an adult person.
oh, the, yeah. And I wasn't going to let any boy outdo me. No. So, so that kind of, I started having problems when I was young. I mean, I had bone issues, and I actually thought that pain was normal, that everybody had pain. Um, because I had pain in my ankles, my knees, my back, in addition to the scoliosis. But it kept getting worse and worse, Doc. And now I know, because of sweating and doing things without replenishing what I was using, that it wasn't supportive of my body, or I wasn't being supportive of my body, but I didn't know. So now it's my mission, along with yours, to make sure people know that there are things that we need to do in order to maintain good health.
Yeah, and of course, it was a beautiful thing that they did, you know, with athletes. They came out with these rehydration drinks with salt in them. Okay. So that was a good thing. And they also added some other minerals like calcium and zinc and stuff like that. But athletes had, what should I say, had a better deal than the average person. Athletes had a better deal than people in the military. In the military, um, when I when I was in the military, I was setting up field hospitals all over the world. One of the things that I did, and one of the things I saw happening, that people were coming in, they didn't have wounds from being hit by bullets or shrapnel or anything like that. They're getting dehydrated and just passing out from dehydration. They couldn't function anymore because their fluids were low. They didn't have enough minerals in their blood to function properly. But I was seeing that in the military, and by then, of course, I had gone through all my things going on with athletics and so forth, and I did my reading and I did my research and so forth. So I knew, okay, we had to come up with something. That's when we came up with Rebound for Theo, which was our um, sweat restore.
Your electrolyte drink,
There you go, the electrolyte drink.
sports drink. Yeah, and it tastes good, folks. Not full of sugar and artificial color, but full of goodness, nutrition, vitamins, minerals, a great way to hydrate. So if you're listening and you want the best electrolyte drink on the market, make sure that you get back with the person that shared this program with you and ask for Rebound. Or you can go to DailywithDoc.com and you'll find Rebound in our store there. But Doc, is Rebound the only thing that we need in order to keep our bodies replenished of what we're sweating out?
No, when you're exercising or playing a sport or fighting or whatever it is you're doing and you're sweating, or working out in a field as a farmer, you're sweating, or you're working in a factory, you're sweating, you have to replace the fluids in your body, but also the nutrients. And you have to appreciate the title of this flip chart says it all. The title of the flip chart is 90 for Life to Save Humanity. Oh, excuse me, 90 for Life Crusade to Save Humanity in the World. Okay. And you need the 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 minerals, 3 fatty acids. And that's the basic core. And people didn't know that 200 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago. So why were they supplementing? Well, because they had it. Okay. Now, nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins, just like gold and silver. And of course, there are people in the population like the Hunzas who live to be 120. And Americans, we rank 47th in the world when it comes to longevity. Okay, we only go to 74.5 or 79.5, depending on whose numbers you're looking at. But to get all these nutrients, we had to come up with a program like the 90 for Life program so that people are going to get everything they need to maintain. And of course, how did we get that 1,000 years ago? Well, wood ashes and coal ashes were used. They weren't just thrown out into the garbage dump. They were put into the gardens They were put in our food. We would drink the water, and we were able to get these nutrients based on what was happening up in the mountains, and the glaciers grinding up the rocks up there. Okay, and we're getting what was called glacial milk. That's why the Hunses live so long. They're getting glacial milk every day for their food, their drink, their nutrient replacement when they're sweating, and so forth. And we need sources of these nutrients. Well, when electricity came along in 1882, by 1900, just about everybody in America had shut down their fireplaces and their pot-bellied stoves, and they were using electricity because it was cleaner. They didn't have smoke in the house and all that kind of stuff. And so suddenly now, the doctors, who for thousands of years were just herbalists coming by and visiting, they just make a circuit, every week or every month in the village, and they'd visit people who had problems. They'd give them an herb or something like that. That was it for thousands of years. But once we went to electricity, suddenly now we had factories. These factories are called hospitals, and they put you in there, and they give you all these drugs, not vitamins and minerals. They give you drugs to get rid of symptoms. And people are happy. Oh man, I had these terrible symptoms. I had pain. I had coughing. My doctor gave me these new drugs. I'm the first one in the town to get this. My doctor took good care of me. Yeah, right. If you believe that, okay. And so it got rid of the symptoms of the pain and the coughing, but the disease progressed. And then, a couple of years later, I said, "Whatever happened to Frank? I haven't seen him in a while." "Oh, he died this weekend. He was taking a walk around the block and he just dropped dead of a heart attack." Oh,
Yeah.
because the drugs are only treating the symptoms, not treating the deficiencies.
Not the underlying cause,
That's
which,
correct.
Dr. Wallach, it seems criminal that symptoms being treated when, for one, less money, two, less side effects, three, overall health, an individual would benefit just by adding in the 90 and the minerals. You had mentioned, all these years back, thousands of years. Well, even 10 years ago, I didn't know there were 90 essential nutrients that our bodies needed. I took a lot of supplements trying to figure out what it is I'm missing, because it's like you hear this for that, this for that, this for that. And I had a whole counter full. It kind of like, well, actually, I think it was more than what your counter full is, Doc, of things that I was taking. But now I know that they weren't synergistically working together. I was not getting the 90 essential nutrients. Yes, I was taking a lot of herbs, but Doc, are there a lot of vitamins and minerals in protein and stuff in herbs that our body needs to thrive?
No, herbs are kind of like,
There's benefits.
yeah, there's benefits because herbs produce substances that can relieve symptoms, but they don't replace vitamins and minerals and proteins and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and there are plants that are high in minerals, but only if the minerals are in the soil that they're grown in, which is something else that I've learned from you, Dr. Wallach. And you discovered this in your research into soil, but it's also been documented through U.S. Senate Bill, was it 264?
264, yes.
Back in 1936, I think it was.
Yes, you're very
Where
good.
documented by the United States government that the nutrients within the soil are depleting. And it only makes sense if a plant needs minerals, and it only has those minerals if it's in the soil, it's going to be taking them up through the roots, and that's going to diminish what's in the soil. So we have to be intentional, even if we are eating a fantastic, fabulous, quote unquote, perfect by somebody's book diet. The 90 essential nutrients that the body needs to flourish, to thrive.
I'm going to stop you there for just a minute. Plants only need 3 minerals to thrive. Plants only need 3 minerals to thrive. We need 60.
I think I have a little stronger composition of what's within me than a plant.
I hope
But
so.
just eating plants is not going to be good enough for me, right?
That's
Or as a,
correct.
all right. Well, I know we need variety. We need to have the fiber, we need the foliage, we need the vitamins, we need the minerals, the phytonutrients, the essential fatty acids, folks. But just eating a standard American diet is falling way short.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you again there. You know, when you ask your doctor, you know, should I be taking any supplements, vitamins or minerals? And most doctors, even yet today, will say, nah, don't waste your money on vitamins and minerals. Just eat well, you get everything you need. My doctor who says that to a patient's question should have their licenses at the very least suspended for a year, so they had to go back to school and learn about vitamins and minerals, or they might have it permanently suspended. Depending, you look at their records and see how many of their patients have died of nutrient deficiencies.
Yeah. Well, with all my experience in doctors, Dr. Wallach, which I've had quite a bit, the only time a vitamin was recommended to me was when I was pregnant. The only time. That was it. Well, we have hands up, Dr. Wallach, and I want to make sure that we get to as many people as we absolutely have. Because not only we have hands up, we've got questions out on Rumble, questions on YouTube, questions here in the Zoom room. And the first question that I want to ask Dr. Wallach, which came in early on Rumble, is why do they remove our appendix when it's inflamed or pain is felt? And hello, Bugden. Bugden's wife just went to the hospital and they're very nervous that they will remove it. My question is, does Dr. Wallach have videos on this topic? But Dr. Wallach, let's create a resource form right now. So tell us about the appendix, its purpose, and why would they want to remove it just if it's inflamed or pain is felt?
So first of all, when your appendix is inflamed, it can burst and leak intestinal contents into your body cavity and create peritonitis and peritonitis infection. So there is potential life-threatening issues going on there. But when you have appendicitis, if you catch it early enough, you can make it go away. Your appendix heals just like everything else. And of course, your digestive system, which includes the appendix deals with your immune system, supports your immune system. Okay. It also detoxifies bad stuff, helps you get bad stuff out of your intestinal tract so you don't absorb it into your body's bloodstream. So those are the two things your appendix does. Okay. And so and doctors are sort of, well, if we prevent it from bursting by taking it out surgically, we won't have to deal with that problem. Now that's true. Okay. And so that is a true statement. And so, but they don't go back and deal with the problem. They just surgically remove the appendix. And so it relieves one potential problem of death from peritonitis because your appendix burst. Okay. But it didn't get rid of the problem that caused the appendix problem. Okay. Okay. So this is,
So go ahead.
as you say, this is where people need to know, okay, so what do I do now, doctor? And the doctor would just throw up his hands and say, well, just, keep eating the 4 food groups, everything will be fine. No, that's not true. You need the 90 essential nutrients. You need our digestive enzymes. Take 2 or 3 of those, say 10, 15 minutes for each meal. You need the 90 essential nutrients, 1 full dose a day per 100 pounds of body weight. And if you only weigh 120 pounds, I'd take a half a dose of breakfast, half a dose of dinner. If you weigh 150 pounds, I'd take 2 full doses, a full dose of breakfast, full dose of dinner of the healthy bone and joint pack, which is what we gave to Theo. We still have the healthy bone and joint pack. We also have the healthy brain and heart pack, which has more nutrients in it added to it. It just depends on your finances and so forth. But your appendix is kind of a warning system as well as a defensive system. There's something going on there that you need to deal with, otherwise it can be catastrophic. Okay. And the doctors, when they came up with anesthesia, came up with surgery, that was a big thing. When you think about it, back a couple 100 years ago, when they came up with surgery and anesthesia and stuff like that, And so, that was, one of the great cures they had was getting rid of the appendix when you had appendicitis. But they were just treating the symptom.
Well, and I had mine kind of emergency surgery when I was 24 removed. And now I know the importance of it. And now I also know what was the underlying cause because of you, Dr. Wallach. And even though I wasn't celiac, I had a severe gluten intolerance. And the appendix is important because it helps to regulate the flora within our digestive system, within our intestines. So if for nothing else, folks, look at your diet just to save your appendix if you still have it, and gallbladder as well. That's another one you don't want to have removed. So Bugden, thank you so much for that question and allowing us to have the opportunity to share the answer with others. Dr. Wallach, let's go to some hands. And just a reminder, everybody, get back with the person that shared this program with you. If you have no one to thank, then feel free to go to DailywithDoc.com and you can reach out to us or call our call team at 855-949-3377. This program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, but we as empowered individuals can do some things to help our body do what it was designed to do. AJ, what questions do you have today?
Dr. Wallach, it's great to see you. Sweat is my favorite topic. And the reason that I joined your crusade was because I heard you talking about the cardiomyopathy, heart disease, and how it was the same as crib death. And because I had some kids in school who died of these things, and I continually look in the news and see, just like 15 days ago, a young kid in Chicago died of what they called Wolff Parkinson